Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wine with Jimmy channel. This is all about wine education on this channel, really designed to help those of you who are getting knee deep into your wine studies, hopefully enjoying it, but giving you a lot of content and process to really be successful in your wine examinations. So I have lots of videos available where I describe topics, grape varieties, countries, regions to give you the content you need and work through written questions also to make sure you understand what type of questions may be asked of you and how to answer those. So this is a video for the WSET Level 3 looking at sweet grape growing and winemaking. So this is a two-part series. This video that I'm going through now is a sample question to give you a taster of what my e-learning portal is all about. So how I will help you with the questions and to work through them. Part 2 is many more further questions on this same topic. And that part will only be available to those of you who subscribe to my e-learning platform. That's over at www.winewithjimmy.com. Lots of added benefits as well if you do sign up. The portal is ad-free, whereas YouTube and other providers, there will be lots of ads. There's hundreds of hours of video content, 1,000 plus flashcards, lots of multiple choice questions, over 600, a library of hard copy short answer questions. You will gain access for a year. You also have access to an online community forum to pose your questions and talk to other people. And there's an audio format of all the presentations too. So if you are on the go, you are going to work, you're on the underground or public transport, or you're at the gym, many of you tell me, then you can listen to it in that format too. Okay, well, let's rock and roll talking about sweet grape growing and winemaking. So that's the topic that I am giving you. I'm only focusing here on the short written questions because they are the all-important way that you will be assessed. It really makes or breaks a student's success on these short written questions. So what is a short written question? It is a question which is posed like you see on your screen here, and you have to write sentences answering that question. Okay, so we're going to talk about sweet wine production, and we're going to talk about what kind of processes that we would need and types of wine and so on. So here is your first question. You are producing a sweet wine that has a distinct raisiny character. State and explain the technique you would use for this style of wine. So how would you make this raisiny sweet wine? You need to state the process and then explain the process. Okay, so for 1 mark, you state it. That is drying the grapes. And I've added here in dry and warm conditions after harvest. So this is not regarding pre-harvest, which would be things like noble rot. Okay, it's not drying the grapes on the vine. This is all to do with drying the grapes in dry and warm conditions after harvest. This causes the healthy grapes to dehydrate and concentrate the sugar in the juice, and the wines will gain a descriptor such as raisin. Okay, so drying the grapes after. So this could be like in a building somewhere or even in baskets in the sunshine, for example. Your next question is just for 2 marks. Name a wine that is produced via this method. There are quite a few you can have, but very clearly in your text, it starts to describe one country and one group of styles. So this is in Italy with Passito wines, and the example given here is Recioto della Valpolicella. Okay, so I would say a style of wine and then the specific example. So Passito wines in Italy, such as Recioto della Valpolicella. Now, some students at this point, if you have done the technique of pausing this and answering yourself, you will try to align your answer with mine. You might find spelling mistakes. And I'm no saint. I sometimes have spelling mistakes, of course. Sometimes you really don't know how to spell the word. Don't worry, you will get the mark as long as it looks fairly close to what the original was. So if you've written recioto there, but you say you've put an I in the wrong place, maybe it's before the C, or you put an I after the O, the first O, that's okay. If you've only spelt Valpolicella with one L at the end, that's okay. Okay, try and spell it, of course, as close as possible, and it should be okay. Okay, so that's our first part. Next up, a little bit trickier because I think this one goes under the radar. It is found in the back of your text, so in the glossary, and you do find it in the main part of your text as well. So this is defining the term passerillage. Passerillage. So what is passerillage? Hopefully, you know. If you don't, this is very useful because it's going to ring an alarm bell for you to study this concept. So let's talk about passerillage. So we're going to describe this process. This is the process of, for 5 marks, the process of drying the grapes on the vine. That will actually get you 2 marks. Okay, that's important because we just talked about on the previous question, drying the grapes after the harvest. This is before the harvest, passerillage. So drying the grapes on the vine in warm and dry conditions. Really, that one sentence is enough to get you 3 marks. Now, once the grapes have reached full sugar ripeness, they begin to dehydrate, 1 mark, and turn to raisins on the vine, increasing sugar concentration in the juice. Okay. Now, you do not need to talk about how it affects the style because it's just describing the term passerillage. Okay. So next it goes into the style, and this is very typical for WSET questions. You're given a factor and how that influences the style. The factor here is passerillage, and how does it affect the style is your next question. So how does the process affect the final style of the wine? For 3 marks, the wine will be sweet because you are evaporating water from the grape, concentrating the sugar in the grape, meaning you're going to have the potential to make sweet wine, 1 mark, with overripe fruit descriptors, 1 mark, such as tropical and dried fruit. Typically, the tropicals will be things like papaya, mango, and with certain varieties, passion fruit. Dried fruit, potentially things like raisin or sultana, but typically more things like dried apricots and dried fruits that will come through. Okay, well, that brings me to the conclusion of the sample question looking at sweet wine making and grape growing. Now, if you do have any comments and questions, please do get in touch. You can do so by commenting on this video below, popping your question down there. Make sure you click like and subscribe. Part 2 will be focusing on further questions in the same area. So this is going to be on sweet grape growing and winemaking. This is only available to those of you who subscribe to my e-learning platform. You'll have to go across to www.winewithjimmy.com to find out those details. If you sign up to the level 3 revision course, you will be ad-free and you will get all of those benefits that you see on the right-hand side in that green box. Loads and loads of juicy added benefits, including map questions and techniques as well. So please do go across. You will not regret it for your supplementary training resources for your exam. Once again, thank you very much. If you find yourself in the UK, come and say hello for a class, a glass, or a bottle. I've been Jimmy Smith. Ciao for now.